Hey guys, it's T7 again. This is actually not a gaming video. This is going to be an unboxing and review for the FQ777-124 quadcopter. So I got this all the way from China. It comes in this little black box. At least for me it did. I've seen other unboxing videos and stuff. They don't come in this, or at least they don't show it. I don't know why. I'll just show you exactly how it came to my door, like this. And I'm just gonna open it and do a little test here. We're gonna see how everything comes, see if it's not damaged or anything like that. It comes wrapped in styrofoam in the bag, so it's a box in a bag, taped together. So honestly, this tape really doesn't do anything because you can just slide it out. So I guess that's not the best, because if the bag opens, this could fall out, and it could potentially fall out without even the foam on it. So that's not really going to help you. Get rid of that. So it comes in this box. This is actually how small the transmitter is, and the thing is, the actual quadcopter is very, very small. Now, this is just a regular. This one was like $13, and this is my first one. I just wanted a cheap one so I could try it out. So we're going to open this up real quick. Some scissors, since I can't seem to find my knife anywhere. Make sure not to cut any wires in there, you know. You don't want to cut wires. Alright. That's open. Open the box. And there's the transmitter with the quadcopter already in it, wrapped in foam. So I guess this is a little safe, but honestly, one of these corners hits the ground or something, it's done. So shipping, not too good. They should have put it better wrapped. Maybe a bag in a box instead of the way they did. Here are the instructions. All Chinese. Look at that. There's Chinese everywhere on this thing. And then underneath the Chinese, there is words in English. Instruction manual, but it's primarily in Chinese. So it's like when you get something from America and it has the Spanish translation. This is the complete opposite. This is Chinese with the English. So we'll take a look at that in a bit, and then I'll let you guys know what I think about it. Inside here, this is also, for some reason, inside another casing. So this is actually not bad. It has a lot of protection, but the protection that it has is not that good. So it's like kind of shitty. I don't want to scratch the controller. I want to open it. Okay. There we go. I got it all the way open. I'm going to have to find my knife by the time I do another one of these. You can see on the back of this we got the on-off switch for the transmitter. You are going to need batteries for this. I'm not sure what kind yet. I have both kinds, so you know. Got landing gear, props, little basically like keychain thing to put on there so you can hang it from your wrist or something. Spare propellers. I think it comes with 8 spare propellers, so that's a lot of propellers to break and have replacements for. The USB charging cable. It plugs right into the transmitter, I believe. Somewhere. I don't remember where. Oh, actually, no. That's for charging it with the computer, and it actually has one in the back that you can charge it with. It even has the landing gear or the propeller guards in here, and then it also has the little hole for the charging cable. So you can take the charging cable right out, charge it through there while using it, and then when you're done, you can put it back in there. With everything else, all the accessories fit in here. So then you could take this entire thing in your pocket somewhere. This thing's relatively small. It's about the size of my hand. If you can fit your hand in your pocket, or 2 hands in your pocket, then you could probably do it, because you'd have to have the thickness of 2 hands. But yeah, alright, let's take a look at the quadcopter. This is one of the smallest quadcopters around, and it is just tiny. This thing is barely it's not even the width of my fingers. All my fingers, and I don't have big hands or anything like that. Just to show you a comparison, we'll get the scissors, and these are just regular sized scissors that you'd find around your house. This thing is tiny. It's not even as big as the handles. So most scissors have the same like handle size. So if you have a pair of scissors, you can actually see how small this thing is. It's tiny. And these propellers, tiny. Everything's tiny on this thing. Easily breakable, but that's why it comes with prop guards. just in case. If you're a beginner flyer, use these. It does shorten your flight time, but that really doesn't matter because you're gonna not want to break this thing on your first run and then have to keep going. I'm gonna have the prop guards on for my first run because I just don't want to break it right away, because it did take a little while to get here. It didn't take as long as it said. It said 7 to 20 business days. It took around 6 or 7, so it was like as fast as possible to get here. The little on-off switch on here, just for this, it already has battery. As you can see right now, it's looking for the transmitter. That's why it's blinking lights. But yeah, we're gonna stop the video here, and then we're gonna charge this thing up fully so we can have a full charge, and then we'll do a test flight for you guys. Alright, so I went through a quick little test flight of this just to see, since that was my first flight ever with a quadcopter. This thing is a lot harder to fly than you would think. So if you're gonna get into doing this as a hobby or something, I definitely recommend starting out with this drone, because this is the cheapest one out there I could find, and it's really good. It's not a bad quadcopter. It's just some of the functions are kind of dumb, and I don't really care for the controller. These sticks that are on here are tiny. They're like smaller than my finger, and it's impossible to use these, even to just get used to it. But I have it in mode 2 right now, which most people fly on, and I found that charging the quadcopter by the controller is better, even though it uses the batteries in the controller. It's better because it tells you when it's done charging. This green light means that it's charging, and when it's done, it turns off. It makes it so much easier. This one does not tell you when it's done charging because it plugs into a computer and there's no LED on it at all. So I don't even use this one, honestly. So I just keep it in the box. Another thing I like about this quadcopter, the landing gear and stuff don't really affect the flight time too much. I mean, I've tried flying it without, but I'd honestly rather fly with it on just because I'm still learning. So if you're still learning, it's great to have these on, even though they do weigh it down a little bit. It still does all the flips and everything. One thing I don't like about this, when this is on low battery, it will not do flips. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's a safety precaution, but I don't see why I can't do flips until it hits the ground, because this thing can take a beating. I mean, this thing, I've crashed it 100 times already, and I've only flown it a couple times. It is so hard to control, so you need to get used to the controls. It's completely different. I also went ahead and I labeled everything since I'm new. So all the buttons, left, right trim, forward, back trim, headless mode, return home, which these are two functions that I really don't care for. Both of the functions are basically useless. Headless mode never seems to work. I mean, it'll choose a random direction no matter what you do. You read the instructions carefully and you try to get the headless mode facing one way, and then you use it and it spins. It works, but it doesn't work in the direction that you're trying to get it to, so I didn't really care for that. And the return to home, it flies anywhere. It's probably flying back to China, honestly. I don't know, I'm going to have to check that out. It's supposed, I'm guessing the return home just flies backwards from wherever the heading is. And it doesn't seem to do that because, like I said, the heading chooses randomly. I don't know why it thinks. You're supposed to point, I did everything that it said to. You point this at the quadcopter, facing the tail of the quadcopter, facing straight forward, and that would create the heading, and it does not work. When I did it, it would do it to the right for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't have the quadcopter facing sideways or anything, believe me. And then this is the left and right turning trim. That's why there's the T. So if it's turning left, turning right. I've never had that happen. Forward and back, left and right do happen every once in a while. I don't know why. Even if you try to reset the gyros, sometimes it doesn't work by holding both sticks to the bottom right. So this transmitter, I'm not too fond of it. I might get different joysticks if I can find some that are bigger for it, because these ones are just tiny. Other than that, this wristband's kind of nice, because if you accidentally drop it, which I haven't really had a problem with, it'll stay on your arm and it won't fall. So that's kind of nice. Oh yeah, one more thing, the instruction manual before we get to our flight. This instruction manual, like I said before, is primarily in Chinese, and then it goes to English. Let's see if we can get that to focus. See, it's all Chinese, and the English translation is pretty bad. Alright, So, let's try, let me show you one thing that I thought was pretty bad. There's one part of this where it says Introduction to Quadcopter Functions. Okay, so when it tells you to do this, it tells you first step, press the power switch to turn on the transmitter. So you turn on the transmitter first, and then the quadcopter. Now these translations are either wrong or the instructions are wrong. So I don't know what's wrong, but you have to turn on the quadcopter first. I had problems for like 20 minutes with this before I could even play with it, just because I was turning on the transmitter before I was turning on the quadcopter, because I was listening to the directions, which were wrong. So I eventually figured that out, and I actually got to flying, but it says push throttle up and down, which is what you do with most, just to bind it, basically. It's not really binding it. It automatically binds when you turn on the transmitter and the quadcopter's on, and then you just do that to get into pre-flight. So it's basically arming the rotors, which you really shouldn't have to do for this tiny drone, because this drone is, it doesn't hurt. Hitting the, I mean, I guess it's good practice for if you're planning on going up, but to a bigger one, but this one really doesn't need it. The throwing flight works perfectly, so I'm going to show you guys a toss too. And the 3D version works too, like I said, the flips and everything, as long as you have enough battery. Like it says actually right here, it says if there's not enough battery, it doesn't work. Now, I put the flip button on the side since it doesn't fit up there. So I just know that pressing this stick in is to flip, and pressing this stick in is the high and low rates. I fly this thing in low rates all the time, because inside, my house is kind of small. Inside, it's good on low rates. Outside, I did on high rates a little bit. I did inside on high rates, but it's too hard to control without hitting stuff inside on high rates. So yeah, let's get right to the flight.
Hard to learn to pilot this thing, but yeah, the yaw on it's pretty good, as you can see. It just funnels like crazy if you do them right.
I'm about to die.
Nah, it's good. It does flips too, but not when it's on low battery like this. It runs out of battery really fast outside, I saw. Let's try and go into upper rates.
Alright, and here's the indoor flight for the FQ777-124.
There we go.
These are low rates, by the way.
You can flips.
Alright, hand toss. Flip it. Right into good.
Do a flip. Oh.
It likes to drop to the ground. You gotta be kind of high to do flips. I don't know why it's dropping.
Oh. Well, right between my legs.
Front flip ain't working.
Oh my god. Oh.
So that was the FQ777-124. It's very good. It took a hit. When I was outside, I actually didn't have the landing gear on accident, and it was just fine out there. No damage at all hitting the ground. It's pretty sturdy, I guess. Okay, so overall, this helicopter is very good for the price. Obviously, $13 for this is not bad. Just takes 6 days. At least that's how long it took me. Oh yeah, one more thing. Batteries are 4 AA batteries. So, it's not that bad, but you are going to need them. And if you fly frequently, I would recommend buying a lot of batteries. Anyway guys, I'll see you guys next time, probably on a gaming video or another unboxing and review. See y'all later.